Why do I have to be first? Oh, this is so real. First and foremost, my name is Tracy Drinker. I'm from New York, but live in North Carolina now. Barry was my cousin, but he came up with some name called Brother Cousin. I had never heard of it, but he was my brother. So I wrote a little something. I'm not going to try to take up too much time, but I'm also going to read something real quick just for Ellie. No, this is for you. This is from Mom. We are truly going to miss our Barry. We love him dearly. He's a great family member and friend to so many. He was very close to Tori and Tracy. Tori was my brother who passed 10 years ago. And to all of us, we appreciate those who love him as much as we do. Eleanor, his wife, is a lovely and loving person. We love her as much as we love Barry. She and Barry was an amazing couple. They both loved each other dearly. I was a part of both their lives, and they invited and treated every family member who visited Vegas welcome in their home. I loved when they came to visit us. I've always been there for them. Tracy and the rest of our family members are devastated over his demise. I love all of my family, and it hurts terribly when we lose a family member. I am graciously thankful for and to all who love our Barry and Eleanor. So that was from my mom, who Barry felt was his mom. And here's a little something I wanted to say. How many pages is it? 12? Oh, okay. Only 2 of those.
If you want to keep your mask off, you can.
Oh, okay.
Help your voice carry. Just
I'm sorry, did you guys hear the first part?
Yeah, we did.
Pretty much, right? All right. So, good afternoon. I'd like to first say thank you to my sister cousin, Eleanor, for allowing me a few moments to speak. This day and the days that follow will be a testament of how we can be humbled in any given moment on this earth. Right now, we're going through a pandemic of catastrophic proportions, and there's so many of us who don't or won't believe it until someone close to us has been taken away. But I'm not here to speak on the pandemic, but to reach out to you the same way Barry reached out to everyone he greeted. I myself am somewhat of an introvert. That's why I'm up here shaking. But Barry didn't care who you were, nor did he care about the color of your skin, your religion, or anything that may have others shy away from speaking or making a point to show kindness. There was no stranger in his eyes. Barry was a very classic Southerner, like the Thunderbird he kept for so long. Always respectful, always supportive of not only his wife, who he praised daily and openly. Her family was an extension of him. Mitchell, Michelle, and Matthew, he loved you guys dearly. This is getting crazy. He would always speak of divinity, serenity, and Trinity, and how they listened to him, even when he thought they didn't. They surprised him with their brilliance. He loved his kids, Justin and Tay, with a passion, and his father was his superhero. It's funny how Barry and I became more brothers than cousins. He used to be my brother Tori's bodyguard. Back in the day, my brother did music, radio, and he was always by his side. When my brother passed, then it was like Barry became an extension of him. We would always argue, well, not really argue, we'd fuss and fight about Army versus Air Force. But when it was the three of us, myself, Barry, and Eleanor and I always won. Oh, one of the most surprising things about Barry was his love for learning languages, just so he could make you even more comfortable around him. I mean, we would walk down the street and he's telling people in Spanish and Chinese and every other, what's Chamorro, right? Is that how you say the language? Okay. I'm sorry, I know I'm getting ready to start rambling again. Barry and I have traveled to the East Coast and the West Coast just to share our homes with each other. He came to North Carolina. I opened my doors to him. I said, here, take the Challenger. He drove to South Carolina. You know what he did? He comes back, it's already detailed, like you would not believe. So in saying, I just want you guys to refer to Psalm 133. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For the Lord commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. I love you, Barry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Barry's widow, I guess. I just want to say thank you very much for showing up. He actually cared for each and every one of you. And he really never met a stranger. And we actually met on Paradise Road in my vehicle. He was in his vehicle in a stoplight. 10 months later, we were married. Who would have thought? And come this August would have been 13 years. So I just lost my best friend. I didn't want to face reality. And I really don't even want to say goodbye. But yeah, so he's been wonderful. He was one of the best husbands I ever had. And he's my best friend. And he loved my grandkids and my kids as well. And he said that his kids, my grandkids, is more his grandkids because his grandkids turned their back on him. So with that said, and my children has been very respectful with him. And his children just unfortunately told him had a good life because they had a thing that wasn't a black woman. But hey, that's life. Anyway, I want to say I love him and thank you for showing. You want to say something?
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Johnson, United States Marine Corps. And I had the honor of meeting Barry. And the reason we met was because his uncle was an original Moffett Pointer, 1942, World War II. He contacted me. We made the necessary arrangements. We presented to Barry and Eleanor at our convention in 2017 his uncle's Congressional Gold Medal. Just in case you don't know the history about Moffett Point Marines, you know about the Tuskegee Airmen, the Buffalo Soldiers. His uncle was one of those first African-American men to join the Marine Corps, but they had to serve in a segregated boot camp in a place called Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is down the street from where we all grew up at. So in honor of Barry, we made Barry an honorary Marine because of his uncle. And any given time that we have an honorary Marine or Marine that passes away, we have a certificate of remembrance. And this is what we say. The National Moffett Point Marine Association, Western Region Certificate of Remembrance. It says, whereas the eternal God, with his infinite wisdom, has called to his presence our beloved comrade, Barry Lipscomb. Whereas the devoted of duty, courage, patriotism, which has served this country during the time of war, as it endured him, those who share the common bond of serving the flag of the United States of America. Of course, in a time of peace and also in war and therefore of. Be it be resolved that the National Moffett Point Marine Association and all of our members therefore extend to the family and friends of our departed in passing, offering with them the condolences and knowing that the grief is shared by those in the privilege who have served in a time of peace and war. So let it be resolved, this resolution be read in the records of the association. And it is signed on the 10th day of February, 2021 by myself, L.E. Michael Johnson, the National President of the Moffett Point Marine Association. Eleanor, it is my pleasure to know Barry as a friend, and we'll continue to be friends because we also are brothers because we also grew up in North Carolina. Thank you for taking the time.
Greetings, everyone. My name is May, and I'm Papa Barry's daughter-in-law. This is going to be harder than I thought. Okay. I'm also a current Air Force reservist. Just to give a little background on who I am. When we leave this worldly plane, how shall we be remembered? To me, Papa Barry was an incredible soul. A gentle being filled with passion for all he loved. He had a thirst for knowledge and technology, always knowing and wanting to keep up with what was new on the market. And everyone knows, every time we get the latest and greatest tech-wise, this world has already got a replacement for it in a matter of a few months down the line. But that thirst of knowledge of his proved to me that despite what we think we may know, there's always room to learn more. For as they say, you learn something new every day. Papa Barry also had an affinity for dogs, especially his Great Dane, Diesel, who was the apple of his eye. And you just know, a person who has a love for animals has an even greater heart of gold. And oh man, his appreciation for cars was bar none. He could talk your ears off about this field that he'd probably have been a great car salesman. But I'll admit, I didn't always understand what he talked about, but his adoration for his passion was certainly endearing. But out of all his passions, the way he sparkled for our mother dearest, Eleanor, was above all else. And that type of endearment is one of inspiration and admiration, for a love like theirs was so far and few in between. I can only hope I can maintain a portion of that kind of love well into my wonder years. Now really what this all comes down to is that Papa Barry was the kind of person that when you walked into any vicinity with him, he just had a charisma that just enveloped you and drew you into his humor because he was just a jolly old soul. And he had a genuine concern for others' well-being. And that same flair was expressed in all that he did and in all that he loved. They say the greatness of a man is not how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and ability to affect those around him positively. And in my eyes, Papa Barry was a true reflection of that and more. He may be gone from this world, but the light he shed that impacted all of our lives lives on forevermore within our hearts. Thank you.
So I'm Mitchell, I'm Eleanor's eldest. I like Barry a lot. He actually treated my mom really well. Very loving, respectful to her. Anytime he had issues or any kind of like networking question, because my background is in networking, he would call me and be like, "Hey, Mr. Wizard, I need some help." I'm like, "What do you need now, Barry?" And he's like, "I need you to do this for me." I'm like, "Okay. Well, send me what your problem is, and I'll call you back with a solution." And I was helping him get a company off the ground. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to foresee his dreams all the way through because of his untimely passing. I didn't get to see his new house after he bought it. He was really proud of it because it got built from the ground up. Unfortunately, I have 2 young children and a wife that was busy, regular lifing myself. But I did talk to him just before he passed, and he had called me about some questions and stuff and was like super excited about this company he was building and starting. And he was a very joyful soul. Always laughing and joking. He'd put a smile on your face anytime you talked to him if you needed one. And he was always there if you needed someone to talk to. And he'd always call me, ask me about my children all the time, ask them how they're doing. And they'd talk to him and he'd be like, "Oh my God, you're so smart." He's like, "Your daddy's doing something right." But yeah, no, Barry was a good man. He's going to be remembered for a long time to come.
So, I don't, mine's isn't that long, but I have a few words to say about Papa Barry. My grandpa was a wise man. He was very intelligent and had a good sense of humor. He was a great and kind man. He was a great influence in my life. Although I may not remember much of him, I loved him very much and hope he's resting in peace. I'm Lana Lynn, and I was one of Papa Barry's granddaughters. My name is Layla, and I was one of Papa Barry's granddaughters. I think it's important to not feel regret during these hard times, because what good does that do if we wish we spent more time with them after they're gone? We should keep our heads up high and do something to make Papa Barry proud, so when we visit his grave, we can tell him how far we have come. Even though Papa Barry isn't here with us physically, his spirit will carry on in our hearts forever.
Just say, I'm his granddaughter, and I loved him so much. Okay, you got it. Right here. Hold your ankle. Or you don't want to. No. You're too shy. Too scared. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. You don't have to. It's okay, you got this. You can do it. It's alright, it's okay. You don't want to. You can sit down and do it later. You can do that later when somebody else talks right now. Okay, come on. Wait, Mila.
Good afternoon. Barry Giswin is my brother-in-law, and he is a character, funny, caring, and just want to tell you the truth. And if you have a question whatsoever, for some reason, he's got the answer. And I just want to read. We came here January to see him with my youngest grandchildren, a boy and a girl, and of course my daughter. And since he likes to play around, they said, well, you can't come and see us because he's sick. And then I told my sister, I said, wait a minute, you guys don't want us to come and visit, but because he plays too much. But anyway, the day that we were leaving was the day that my brother-in-law had passed. And I was thinking, and from there, had to call home. My daughter kept saying, Mom, you can stay. But on the other hand, I was like, I just don't know how to handle it. Because ever since I got sick, had a stroke, I'm still trying to grasp what I need to pick up on. And I knew that when she told me about it, it was shocking. But what went through my mind was God's control. God took him. It's his time for him to go. And we little knew that morning that God was going to call your name. In life, we love you dearly, Barry Lipscomb. In death, we do the same. It broke our hearts to lose you. You did not go alone, for part of us went with you, and the day God called you home, and we still have your memories in us. You left us peaceful memories. Your love is still our guide, and thought we cannot see you, but you're always on our side, on our mind. Anything that you see, anything that you hear, you're gonna be really, really thinking about your grandfather, your wife, your uncle, your cousin, because he's dearly loved. Our family chain is broken, and nothing seems the same, but as God called us one by one, and the chain breaks and it meets up together, is what it's saying is that the chain will link again for all of us to meet again. Thank you. My brother-in-law.
On behalf of the President of the United States, the United States Army, and the Great Nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service.